Welcome to Ottawa Buzz TV and the Relationship Show. Today we have Diane Valiquette once again, the relationship coach. Diane works helping couples and families and individuals navigate the road of decision to separate and divorce, or to reconcile and rebuild after the fact. So today, Diane's going to be covering alienation and our participation as a parent to alienate the other parent and its impact on the family and the kids. So thanks for coming and joining us again today, Diane, and I'm looking forward to hearing exactly what it is that you're going to talk about.
I picked the topic of alienation today because I have 3 couples right now where I've, in the past 2 months, we're really dealing with that a lot. And I'm finding that it's happening more and more and more. And I don't know why. I don't know why, because and unfortunately, I know men do it. But if you look at the research and you look at, people who have written books on parental alienation, it's mostly moms. It's mostly women who do it. And, thank God for Tara, who sees, the children of separation and divorce here. She's a child and youth worker. And, we are giving this case. They're in mediation, and the mom comes to mediation and says, I just want to mediate this because it seems like my children want to see their dad a little bit more, and because he only has them every second weekend, but they really want to spend more time with him, and they want a better relationship with him. So I'd like to be looking at a schedule to help my children and to help sort of integrate more time and so on. And so great. So then they're in mediation, and then they're doing the mediation for their separation agreement, but they had been separated for a while, and I've been on a system or on a schedule of every second weekend. And so first, what we do usually here at the center is we have the children meet with Tara, who's a child and youth worker, and hear the voice of the children, right? Because her thing is every child has a voice, and really understanding what the children are saying and what they want and what they're hearing at home, and how to integrate almost to a 50-50. And so, the mom's playing along, and and innocently, like, we think, okay, this is great. This is going to work. We come back to the table, and Tara comes back in the family mediation and with the 2 parents, and says, okay, so the children are both really, really wanting 50-50. And the mom's like, no, I didn't agree to 50-50. I just thought we would add just one more day. I don't want 50-50. And so Tara's like, okay, but you came to see us because you wanted them to be with their father more and to have a better relationship with him. And dad wants to see his children 50-50. But because we went to the 50-50, and we're still explaining we can do that in a slow integration. So let's say he has them Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then, every week we'll add an extra day. Well, at this point, and I mean, it's funny because Tara had called it, she turns and she says, well, what are your qualifications, and where did you come up with, this time, that much time? And I will only agree to 1 day extra, and I don't think this is a good place for us. And it's quite interesting because this is what we usually get. So the minute that, we're not saying exactly what the parent who basically hired us, and we're not in cahoots with her, and we're not saying exactly what she wants to hear, all of a sudden we're no good. And what is Tara's qualifications? And Tara Vargas, the owner in the West End, who owns the part of Separation Divorce Resource Center in the West End, was doing the mediation, and we're just like, they're shaking their heads going like, what just happened, right? And I think Tara, what happened with her, Tara Vargas, that was one of her first mediation where it clearly shows that unless we would be agreeing with mom, that it would break down. And it's sad. It's really, really sad because, alienation is a lot of narcissism on steroids, is that they're so narcissistic in their beliefs and that they're right and that they have a right to control everything, and to let go any of that control, is almost an impossibility. They just will not. So this mom who came to see us, wanted and played this part and had the intention that she would only add 1 day, never shares that. And then we're going against what she wanted, which is not just 1 day, but we can get, the kids are old enough to get to 50-50. And all of a sudden, it's almost like, we call it like Dracula comes out. And now we're fired and they're going to court. And then it's funny because they were in the boardroom and they didn't know that we could hear. And the mom says, you will never have them 50-50. And then we walk, I guess, so Tara walks in the room and she says, hi. It's like, hi, how are you? And so totally different game, totally different way of being. And you walk in the room and it's just like, this is really not like 50-50 is not okay, because I feel that they need to be at home in one bed all week. And so what did you want then? Like, what did you want us to basically find the same findings as you, agree 100% with you, and say to dad, too bad, so sad, right? And now it's sad because mom played this game and disagrees. Now he has to get a lawyer. He has to, build a case. He has to try to get the office of the children's lawyer involved so that the kids can be interviewed again and, asked or what they want and what they feel again. And this is going to take over a year by the time a decision is made. And here are these girls who want to be with their dad and are not allowed to be. And then mommy turns it all around. Daddy has addictions and it's not good for you guys to be with him that much. And so, one of the kids says, the older daughter says, well, why did you even do this to us then? You tell us that we could see him and now you're telling us all these bad things about him. And she says, well, you'll see in time, he's not always reliable, and now putting him down, like completely putting him down. And what people don't understand is that your children did not divorce dad. Your children did not divorce mom. You divorced. And so a lot of the times we make the children be divorced as well, right? Is that, they are being put in a place where one part of them, so let's say it's mom or it's dad, because dads do it too, but one part of them, who they are, is not okay, is terrible, is, manipulative, he's all of these things. When we start putting a partner down, the child is a piece of both of us. And when we put the other piece down, there's a part of them that can't even be okay with that piece of them. And then they don't have a right to be able to just love that other parent, because then they're guilty, or they can't, because then the mom or the dad that they're saying, like, we want to spend more time, goes ballistic. And so they can't even share what they really want. And this is happening. Like, we have 3 cases like this right now. And I think I shared that. at Reignite You, as I got a call. So there's mom and dad, and he's an engineer and she's a psychiatrist, and they live in Kingston, and they are asked. So mom says, it would be a lot better for job prospects and for our children to grow up in Ottawa, and I have my family there. I really want us to move. So, all right. So dad says, okay, marriage is not going great, but they're still married. So she gets a job in Ottawa. He gets a job in Ottawa. So they move to Ottawa and buy this house, and they all move in. And a month after being moved in, she instigates something, and then he gets pretty angry. She calls the police and says that he tried to hurt her, and he tried to, choke her and all those things. And then, so of course he gets cuffed and off he goes. And it was all just a ploy to get him here to be able to leave him. And because she's, got the education she does, the police are believing her. And he ended up trying to kill himself because he just could not comprehend what just had happened to his life and why. And then, on top of, okay, so now I've moved from Kingston to Ottawa. Only her family's here. His family's not around in this area. And now he's charged with something that never really happened. And he can't see his kids. He can't go home. And he's got to get a lawyer, first a criminal lawyer and then a family law lawyer, to try to get some visitation with his children. But until the charge is looked at, or or I don't know how it goes, like, or like put out of court or something. He can't come back home, and he can't go near his ex-wife, and he can't see his children until a family law file, or until he goes to an emergency motion, I believe, in the courts to ask for visitation. And and that happens, like that truly happens. And I feel right now it's getting worse and worse. I don't know what is happening to society or us as parents, or why we're so much at odds and want this war so much, but it's an increasing in our practice. Almost every month we get one that kind of looks like that, and it seems to be increasing. And I think what I'd like, so my message today is I'd really like people, when you're hearing a mom saying, the father's useless and he shouldn't have the kids, and, I'm fighting for him to have them only every second weekend. I think, we should be questioning that. We should be questioning that from our friends. We should be questioning that when someone is saying that, try to get a little bit more information. And if you're feeling that there could be some type of game or alienation, call it, because this is not about just your friendship. This is about the lives of children, little children who grow up to never see their mom or their dad, and not being able to have a relationship with their mom or their dad because they are so bad. They are so, rotten, and there's, they turn them against them, and they just do that. And it's really sad. Right. And understand, like they're using the kids as pawns. They're using their power. Like if one has more money than the other, they're using their power with really good lawyers and building cases and, writing like crazy stuff that is not even true. So, I'm talking about it today because I think it needs to stop. And I think in today's world, I think that we're able to question people when you're hearing that kind of stuff, and you're hearing how bad they're sounding about their spouse and about how terrible he's been. Really think for a minute, though, is it really someone that bad that should not ever see his children? And yeah, okay, you're hurting your spouse, and yeah, that person doesn't get to see their kids and so on, but who are you really hurting? Because the family unit was created to have two parents raising children. And if you married that person and you had children with him or with her, are they really that bad? Right? And I'm not talking if there's abuse or there's, addictions and so on, we got to be careful around that. Absolutely. But all in all, all the courts are bogged down with custody and access issues, and the Office of the Children's Lawyer to make, to have some, and I don't know if anybody knows what, so the Office of the Children's Lawyer, what they do is they get a social worker and a lawyer for the children, and they interview at mom's place, they interview at dad's place, they go to the school, they go talk to the doctors. I mean, they talk to everybody involved in the case, and usually that takes a good 5-6 months. And and then they get to the table, and the social worker and the judge or the lawyer will say, okay, well, our findings is that we have not really found any findings, that we think that the kids should go 50-50. This continues to be our recommendation. And then the mom or the dad will say, nope, we don't agree with you. We're going back to court. So all of that work, all of those interviews squashed because one parent decides that they're not going to stop there. So I'm just asking, as a whole, and as people who, have children, and you hear stories like that, question it a little bit more. Question the sincerity of what is actually really happening. I gave Rebecca earlier a book that I would, if you're feeling that, or you're feeling that some friend of yours or people are actually doing that. There's a book called Parental Alienation 911, a workbook by Judge Michelle Lawrence. And she really explains it. She really explains how these battles destroy children. These battles destroy money that you could have used for their university, or money you could have used to help them in therapy, or to help them, or to help you guys come to a better place. So that's what I want to say this week, because I really feel that it's terrible. and it should not happen this way. It just shouldn't be happening. So next week we're going to talk about something a lot more, a little bit more positive. I'm going to talk about telling the kids. When do you tell the kids that you're separating? How do you tell the kids you're separating? And age appropriate, how do you tell them? So that will be what we're going to talk about next week. Rebecca, do you have any questions? Rebecca, do you have any questions? You can't hear me?
No, I have no questions. It was good. I was just like, I was wondering if, you said it was narcissistic and all that, but like sometimes when people are in that and they start doing it, they're not even self-aware that they're doing that. They're just into battle. It doesn't sound to me that person can really shift to actually being a parent.
No, they can't. And they say, oh, for the love of my children. Yeah, okay. So if you actually loved your children, you wouldn't be doing that to them, right? It's for the love of their children. No.
Yeah. So even if your friends and families might listen and try and push that person to sort of wake up, is there really anything that can be done? No.
No, but what I think? So no, probably nothing can be done. But I also feel that if there was less people listening to them and there were more people telling them how wrong they are, then there might be some kind of a shift because they're losing people around them. They're losing their friends or they're losing the family that are saying, okay, enough, right? Now, will they really change? Will they really shift? I don't know. But I feel that, when you're not watering the plant, then maybe it doesn't have anywhere else to grow and they're wrong everywhere. They might start to look at it. That's a hope. Maybe.
I mean, it's not my industry, but I just from this side listening, I doubt it.
Yeah. And you're right. Right. I've seen though once, it was so amazing. That was like way back, like 10 years ago. The judge actually said, you know what, you've been alienating these children. And as of today, they're going full time with dad. You will not see them for 2 months in order for them to rekindle a relationship with dad. And in 2 months from now, you'll see them every second weekend. And you know what? Have a taste of your own medicine. And we were like, oh my God, like victory, right? Because judges don't do that often. But this judge saw right through it. And it was a great day. Right? On. Yeah.
Good.
All right. Well, thank you for being here. And anybody have any questions, email me or Facebook me. And I will be back next week with how to tell the kids you're separating.
Have a great day.